RAYNET-UK operators are invited and encouraged to check into the net. When you do check in, please announce your call sign slowly and phonetically, followed by your name, and if you wish to leave the net immediately after checking in, then please call in and out. Otherwise, if you want to leave after subsequent turns, then please make it clear you want to check out at that time. After I've received a few check-ins, Net Control will pause and review the list, acknowledge you if you've been heard. If you've not been heard, please do try again. I will do a check for strays at the end of the sequence call-in as well, in case you miss your turn. So I'll now begin taking check-ins for the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net as usual in call sign number order, starting with stations with figure 8 to figure 8 in their call sign. Please go ahead now. This is G4 and RC. G4 and RC, second call, any stations figure 8 in their call sign, call now please. G4 and RC, over. For an RC, no 8, so down to the 7, stations figure 7 in the call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over.
G7 Go, Echo Hotel.
Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Good afternoon, Greg. For NRC has got Golf 7 November Echo Hotel. Good afternoon, Graham, and thanks for doing the video stream. And Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Good afternoon, Dave. Any E7s, please, over. For NRC, no more 7s, so we'll go for 6s. Stations figure 6 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4 NRC, over.
Mike 6, Romeo Victor Romeo. 6 November Yankee India, Alan, Planet Raynet, in and out please, Greg.
For NRC, he's got Raj, Mike 6, Romeo Victor Romeo. Good afternoon to you. And also good afternoon to Alan, Mike 6 November Yankee India, who is in and out. Any other 6s, please? G4 and RC, over. Golf 6, Papa Delta Echo. G4 and RC, he's got Chris, Golf 6, Papa Delta Echo. Good afternoon to you. Everybody on the live stream seeing me typing with my tongue stuck out. Okay, we'll move us to 5, stations figure 5 in the call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nothing from our sold 5 on the list, so we'll go down to 4, stations figure 4 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over. Second call for any stations figure 4 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over. For an RC, nothing heard, so we'll go for 3, stations figure 3 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over.
Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, Ian, hoping to improve on my bit error of my packet loss rate of 7%, and in and out, Greg, thank you.
G4 NRC has got Ian, Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-ray, and with a smile on my face I can confirm your bit error rate was only 1%, and copied you in and out, Ian. Any other threes? G4 NRC, over. G4 NRC, nothing heard, so it's to the twos, including the intermediate twos. If you're a British station with a 2 in your call sign, go ahead now. This is G4 NRC, over.
2 Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra.
G4 NRC, it's got a call in, 2 Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra. Good afternoon to you. Any other 2 stations, please? G4 NRC, over. NRC, nothing heard, so we're down to the ones. Stations, figure 1 and their call sign, please go ahead. G4 NRC, over. For NRC, second call for any stations, figure 1 and their call sign, please go ahead, over. G4 NRC, no ones, so we're into the rich pickings of zeros, starting as usual with Mike 0 stations. Mike 0 stations for any regional secondary identifier, please go ahead. G4 NRC, over.
M0 LOM, in and out.
Mike 0, Tango, Golf Charlie, David, East Devon, in and out, please, Craig.
Mike 0, Juliet Uniform Juliet, Mike, in and out, hoping on improvement from last weekend.
Mike 0, India Tango Mike, Andy, Shirley, also on call, in and out, thank you, Greg.
G4 NRC, let's see if we can stop that torrent long enough for me to, I think I type my way out of this. Okay, we've got Mike 0, Lima Oscar Mike, good afternoon Paul. Mike 0, Tango Golf Charlie, good afternoon David. Mike 0, Juliet Uniform Juliet, good afternoon Mike. Mike 0, India Tango Mike. Andy, I copied you, no problem. Mike 0, Whiskey X-Ray Golf did make it through the gateway, so I didn't copy Shirley directly. All those stations were all in and out. Mike 0, Whiskey X-Ray Golf, correction, Shirley, when Shirley called in, it was 10% packet loss, but Andy, you were okay. Okay, any other 0 stations, any other Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please go ahead now, G4 and RC, over.
Mike 0, Whiskey X-Ray Golf, Shirley, just testing that the access is better this time. Thank you.
G4 and LC, back to Mike 0, Whiskey X-Ray Golf. Yes, Shirley, no packet loss that time, loud and clear. Thanks for checking and copied you in and out. Okay, any Golf 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please. G4 and RC, over.
Golf 0, Juliet, Lima, X-Ray, name is Andy, and in and out this afternoon. Thank you, Greg. Over.
G4 and RC has got Golf 0 Juliet Lima X-ray, not his. Try again, G4 and RC, seems to have had a bit of a glitch on the link to Brandmeister then. G0JLX rather than GW0JLX is copied loud and clear, Andy, and copied you in and out. With that distraction, any other Golf 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please go ahead. G4 and RC over. G4 and RC, nothing heard. Any UK stations who missed their turn to call in, any UK stations who missed their turn to call in, please go now. G4 and RC over. RC, no strays, so we'll go then for international liaison stations. Any of our international liaison stations, usually Northern Band in Norway or RN in Ireland, please call now. G4 and RC over. Okay, G4 and RC, nothing heard. Right, thank you all for coming on the net today. Net is, as usual, live streamed by Graham, 7NEH to YouTube. Live stream and recording are available by searching for G7NEH, that's Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, on youtube.com. Thanks to everyone who came to say hello at the RAYNET stand at the National Hamfest this weekend. It was good to see some members face-to-face again, and also get some FaceTime at the RSGB. The event being the same weekend as Jamboree on the air was perhaps unfortunate, but both events are hopefully on the road to recovery after COVID. I certainly know some of the Aaron members in Ireland have been quite active with Jota today. At Newark, there was quite a bit of discussion about the amateur radio response to wide area power outages, so hopefully you will see something in RADCOM in December in the special interest group section, but the deadline for submission is tight, as is the space being given to us and the time allowed. So it will just set the scene for the rest of the amateur community that we are interested in getting ready for this kind of issue. For our own preparation, you can find out what block you are in for rotor disconnections, either from your electricity bill, or by going to www.powercut105, that's www.powercut105.com, and then put your postcode in the Find Your Network Operator section, and it will tell you a letter, and that letter will then tell you which bit of the rotor you're on if we do get to the unfortunate position of rotor disconnections. Looking ahead to next weekend, a reminder that next Saturday is the National AGM at Bristol. Hopefully everyone has received the required paperwork through their email, but because it is going to be another busy weekend of events next weekend, I'm going to need someone else to take the net next Sunday, as I don't quite know where I'll be. Operating from a hotel room might not be impossible, but certainly a little challenge. So there's something there to talk about. I'm on an early close again today because there's another basketball game, so we need to close by 16:45 at the latest, so we'll work down the list from the top with Graham, G7NEH, and G4 and RC over.
G4 and RC, G7NEH. Yes, good afternoon, Greg, and good afternoon to all on the net. Not a lot to report at this location. Company Greg down to the National Hamfest on Friday, and yeah, I have played with a new toy this morning. And I've also got the Jackery on charge at the moment. Given it its first time out of the box. So yeah, this weekend has also been Jota, and I was operating GB2 COS yesterday with another local amateur, Arthur, and we did have some visits by Tarpley Cubs, and they thoroughly enjoyed it. They've not been to one before, so a good day was had yesterday. So yeah, with that, not a lot else to report really. I'll give you some figures on the live stream in the next round. So with that, back to you, Greg. G4 NRC, G7 NEH. NEH, G4 NRC returning. Okay, thanks Graham, glad you got to play with new toys. And the Jackery solar power station, for those that don't know what one of those is, a big mains chargeable, solar chargeable lump of lithium battery, is going to be a useful addition to the fleet for a while. And good point about some visits from scouts who've not been to a JOTA before. We have had lockdowns, and there will be, in some ways, a generation of scouts that haven't seen one of these things, so maybe we get them to approach it with fresh eyes, which would be good. Okay, next to Dave, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm intrigued to hear now what was in Graham's shopping basket. I'm sure we'll find out shortly. And yeah, hope the Jackery works out well. I have been looking at other versions myself recently, along with the interest with yourself, Greg. But hopefully in the next few months something will come to fruition. Back to you, Greg. Mike 7, Alpha Victor Oscar.
Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4 NRC. I'm not spoiling the fun of him telling you what he bought. I just got revenge because he didn't stop me buying an FT 8.8, so I would have some slightly more portable radio to take around. Just as we move out of the West Cheshire RAYNET section of the net, just a bit to highlight that I've practiced what I've preached, and I've put all of Cheshire's members' postcodes through that PowerCut 105 site. And there are some parts of the rotor where we lose quite a few operators. We'll all be without power at the same time. And geographically, Graham and I are certainly on the same block. I can't remember where you were in the list, Dave. But, it's something to understand who will be the haves and have-nots in any particular 3 to 4 hour period. Okay, next to the south of the country, down to Raj. Mike 6, Romeo Victor Romeo, G4 and RC, over.
Mike 6, Romeo Victor Romeo. Good afternoon, Greg, and good afternoon to all those that are listening today. I'm thinking about buying one of the Jackery power stations. I think they're a really good idea, especially when power cut runs out. I think I'm in Beeves, as you were talking earlier, and you gave us the address, so I put it in. I'm in Kent, and I think it says B on mine. I don't fully understand what that means, but I'll do a bit more research. But yeah, nothing else new here. But I hope everything's okay today. Back to you, Greg. Mike 6 Romeo Victor Romeo.
Mike 6 Romeo Victor Romeo, G4 and RC. But remember when everybody remember when we're justifying buying Jackeries or solar power stations, this is relatively useful when we take it out on events and need lots of power, and relatively useful if you want to go out and do any parks on the air or stuff like that when you need lots of power, but also how useful it'll be at home keeping some lights on if we do have rotor disconnections. The letter you bring out when you do that lookup, effectively the country is divided up into 18, if I remember right, letters. Yes, it is, 18 letters, each representing about 5% of the population. And depending on how deep the rotor disconnection goes, and it'll be announced that on a particular day, it's this depth of disconnection and these letters that will be involved. And the way they divide the country up is that if it gets really daft, then you should get 3 days of clear, good power, and then the rest of it might be subject to disruption, which, for anybody of historical bent, will remember the 3-day week.
So take a quick dip. I don't know why the Brandmeister link keeps dropping out. Once you know your rotor block and you know the depth of disconnection, you'll be able to look up in something called the electricity supply emergency code when your power will be going off by day and time. So from a group controller's viewpoint, this is where we'll be looking at which members are going to be the helpers and which will need to be the helped, I think. Okay, thanks for that. Good news, we seem to have a Jackery thing going. Shame we couldn't find a discount code. We'll go down to Chris next. Golf 6 Papa Delta Echo, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC from G6PD in Ipswich. I bought a couple more LED lanterns that are powered by a couple of 18650 lithium cells, rechargeable off a micro USB charger. I haven't got the well, I'm not too mean to go and spend out for one of those Jackeries, but I've got a couple of elastic batteries to run the radios off of it as well. I remember warming up beans on an open fire when I was a child, so I don't want to be not prepared for that. Also wanted to mention that I've successfully played with the GPS tracking facility on the DMR website that Guy has kindly provided, so I can see myself along with young Chris at M7CBX. So I'm quite pleased to see that working. I'm not sure when we'll ever get around to using it, but it's good to know it's there. Nothing more from me today, so count me out further rounds, please, Greg. Back to you, G4 and RC from G6PDE.
G6PDE, G4 and RC returning. Okay, yes, well, solar power stations, we'll stop sponsoring a particular brand for a moment, are a rather extreme in some ways, but Swiss Army knife, it will do anything. Cookers, lights, fridges, laptops or routers. But having any form of battery supply and some lighting is the essentials, and that people are thinking the right thing and reinforcing. I also have some memories of the 70s, but mine wasn't burning any food over a fire. It was more having toothache and having to watch the TV intently to shout when the letters came on to say what the road to disconnection was going to be. Yeah, copied you out on this one, Chris. It's going to be a fairly short net by the looks of it today, which could be a good thing given the timescales, because the last station to be called at the moment is Colin. So Echo Zero, Charlie Mike Sierra, G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, thanks, Greg, to Zero CMS. Yeah, it's been a busy week this week. Full events. I'll try and keep it as brief as possible. Last weekend we had the Tunbridge Half Marathon, where we used 2 Starlinks, one of which has now been supplied by, or been paid for by Kent County Council. Having seen my own Starlink in use at Incident Liaison Officers Training a few weeks ago. And then Tuesday was a big exercise. It was one of these shoreline clean-up oil pollution exercises. All 4 groups in Kent came together. So we had an operational group on one of the North Kent beaches, and then used the Starlink to do Zoom meetings and things back to the County Emergency Centre, Rochester Airport, where Skywatch were also flying light aircraft over the pollution area and taking pictures back to the airport. So we were using Zoom and other ways of transmitting large photographic files back to the County Emergency Centre. And there was also flying drones and providing live feeds of that back to the County Emergency Centre. So the people there were very impressed with what we were providing. We were using radio as well, just to get it all up and running. But yeah, it's been a good week. Then Thursday this week, we've also had a couple of us with the Starlinks again, providing some Wi-Fi for some resilience direct mapping training at one of the local authority buildings for the Kent Resilience team. That was well appreciated. And then another event last night where we didn't need the Starlinks; it was just radio only, and it was one of the evening starlight walks. But it was good to have all of the 4 Kents groups working together, and that's happened for a little while. And it's been very useful to meet other people from other groups, including Raj M6 call sign that you spoke to earlier. Anyway, that'll do for me. I'll keep that one short and pass it back to you, Greg.
0 Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra, G4 and RC. Yeah, certainly does sound busy. The use of Starlink, I think I've seen one in my part of Cheshire. Couldn't quite see why, but it's very obvious upon a chimney stack of all places. But then I saw somebody in America had improved their coverage of a Starlink by putting it up on a very big stick to clear all local obstructions, get as many satellites as possible. Well, groups working together well and doing some midweek exercises, which I think is a particular bonus point. So thanks for the update, Colin. Hopefully we'll hear some more about that in a checkpoint or something like that going forward as well. So we are going to go into a second round, but before we do, are there any stations waiting to call in to the RAYNET-UK activity period? This is G4 and RC, operated by Greg G0DUB. Over.
Mike 0, Golf Uniform Yankee Portable.
Zero Golf Uniform Yankee Portable. There needs to be somebody maybe use the slash key today. Good afternoon, Guy. Why are you portable, over?
Here's a question. My daughter has just decided to buy a tiny chair for one of her creations, and guess who's been voted to go and pick it up on eBay from eBay. So driving all off to London to go and pick up this blinking little chair that they don't want to post. So that's why I'm portable. No, just calling in very, very quickly just to say I heard about the using GPS on the RAYNET server. Great, thank you very much. Much appreciated, and obviously feedback on that. If you go to your GPS page under your profile, you'll find a little button now which allows you to post your GPS coordinates from your browser. So if you don't have a radio that's capable of doing GPS and you're out and about and want to tell people where you are, then you can log into the RAYNET server on your phone or on your tablet or on your laptop and then have it post the GPS. Obviously, if you're using phone or tablet, then you'll get more likely to get an accurate GPS. If you're using your laptop, then it's a bit more hit and miss. And that's it from me. From Mike 0, Golf Uniform Yankee, back to you, G4 NRC.
Mike 0, Golf Uniform Yankee Portable, G4 and RC returning. Okay, Guy, down to taxi, even if it's for a chair. Okay, all copied. Don't know if you heard earlier, I had a couple of glitches where I was talking and I noticed the talkback I get from Brandmeister stopped. There's a couple of glitches, it's not done it since. And I also don't know if you're around next weekend, but I could have some difficulties next weekend running the net. So I might be at you later on the Teams chat. Okay, right, it's a shortish net given the number of people on, so let's go back to the top of the list and to Graham and find out how many viewers we've got on YouTube today. Chief 7NEH, G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, G7NEH, returning. Yeah, okay. So our views at the moment, we've had 6 views so far this week. There is 4 currently viewing. On last week's net, I think when I looked before, it was about 20 views in total. Most of those have happened through the week rather than on the actual day. Thank you to the few people that have subscribed. So I'm up to 35 subscribers now, which is excellent, and so thank you very much if you're one of those. And can you just go again, Greg, on the when you found out your locator letter on the Power 105, Power Cut 105 website? Where do you go then to find your predicted outage?
If you can repeat that, that would be great. So, yeah, with that, no, nothing else from me, so thanks for doing that, Greg, and back to you, G4 NRC G70H. G4NRC returning to G7NEH, and Graham, just noting that you've had a couple of dropouts on both your transmissions, just brief ones. You're coming in through the repeater, so it should be stable connection. But yeah, just a couple of drops there. Right, thanks for the YouTube update. What you need to go to, or if you're interested, you need to go to, is to go to Google and search electricity supply emergency code. Say again, electricity supply emergency code. And that outlines the process, and at the back of the PDF that will take you to from the gov.uk website, it will show you the different matrices of how deep the outage is going to be and which blocks will get turned off at which time. So you can see how that works out. I will post to you and G4HUF what I've already done for the county, because my first pass was who's in which block. The next thing is to look at the detail in the electricity supply emergency code, because as you get deeper into cuts, then you don't get cut off, you don't just get one letter cut off at a time, it's two letters get turned off at a time. And given we've got a couple of large groups of members in the same block, it's just Murphy's Law that says the two biggest blocks are also where we've got most of our people living. So that's the next step when I get past a whole lot of other stuff. Okay, so that's that question answered. Next to Dave for a final. Mike 7, Alpha Victor Oscar, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, Mike 7 for Victor Oscar. Yeah, just to be fine, Greg. I don't know whether I am the same as yourself. I am in Area P, Papa. Whether it changes because I do have a true CW postcode here, whereas yourself and Graham are both CH. And it does change from CW to CH at the bottom of the village. So whether that makes any difference, but yeah, I know we are all sort of, you know, within shouting distance across the fields, more or less, aren't we? So I would probably think we are in the same tragedy. Yeah. Back to you, Greg. Mike 7, Alpha Victor Oscar.
Victor Oscar, G4NRC returning. Okay, yes, I'm in Block P, Papa, and so is Graham. And its postcodes are just a convenient method of knowing where people are. The bit of geography that governs the blocks is the high voltage switchgear. Because to make this happen in olden days, power engineers would have to run around from substation to substation, knocking areas off at 33 kilovolts probably, for the size of things. So a disconnection block will spread across lots of different postcodes. The more rural the area, the more likely they are of all being in the same block, because there's only one HV supply to them. In urban areas, you might have a slightly better chance. Certainly when I was looking at Warrington and Runcorn, there were a few more letters brought to bear there because the population density was higher. But this is all the kind of stuff that's useful background information, as we hopefully don't have to suffer this, and we can just keep memories of the 70s as there's just that, fond memories. Okay, next down to Raj. Mike 6, Romeo Victor Romeo, G4NRC, over.
Mike 6, Romeo Victor Romeo receiving. Thank you very much. This is very good information to know. Because I'm looking at if we do have power cuts to buy, like a Jackery box so that we can have power at home as well. It's all very interesting to know and find out information. Thank you very much for the information today. I've been looking at it while others have been talking. Thank you, Greg, for your hard work with hosting the net as well. Back to control, M6RVR.
We'll try that again. Mike 6, Romeo Victor, Romeo G4 RC. Yeah, you're welcome, Raj. Don't know what happened then. I broke up the private server and then it didn't make it to Brandmeister and everything dropped. Yeah, it's all useful info. What we have to remember, which didn't go down well with some at Newark, is that there are countries like South Africa who have now been doing rota disconnections for something like 110 days this year already, up to 8 hours a day of no electricity. This is not a new thing, it's just new to the UK, and we did pick up a lot of good information from the IARU Region 1 Emergency Communications Coordinators meeting about how other countries deal with this on a more frequent basis than we do. So one we'll need to watch out for that the South Africans found was when the power comes back, everybody turns everything on, and the subsequent overload then trips out the substation and you get an unwanted outage. You have to wait for an engineer to come back and fix things again. So we need to stagger recharging all our wonderful solar power station toys as well. Okay, 2 to go. Next is Colin, 2 Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra, G4 and RC. To Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra. Are you still with me, Colin? G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC. I didn't think he dropped out on the last one. So I'm going to go down to Guy and then come back to Colin as the final. Mike 0 Golf Uniform Yankee Portable, G4 and RC for your final, Guy, over.
Mike 0 Golf Uniform Yankee. Not much more to add other than, of course, running the net. Thank you, Greg. Yes, I think I'm around next Sunday, so that shouldn't be a problem. Just, we'll meet up on Teams and figure it out, but I think I'm around. Otherwise, I don't think I've got anything else to add, so I shall keep it very, very short, and say 73s to all from Mike 0 Golf Uniform Yankee. Back to you, G4 and RC.
Mike 0 Golf Uniform Yankee, G4 and RC. Yeah, I appreciate it, Guy. As usual, I'll fill up the log sheet with useful stuff to say as we go forward. Okay, let's go back to our missing man, 2 Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra, 2E0 CMS, you with us, Colin, G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, I'll have to presume it's a family call that's dragged him away. Because I didn't recall he was actually dropping out the last one. Okay, thanks everybody for that. Very useful, very encouraging to hear that you're all thinking about how we might be honouring what the International Telecommunications Union expects of us in the amateur service, and that's being able to run networks independent of utilities and other networks and supplies and things. So it's good that we're all thinking in the right direction. That's much appreciated. But as always, we hope we don't have to use this in any great anger. So with that, I'll bring the net to a close. So I'll thank everybody for taking time out of the schedule to participate this afternoon. Be careful, have a good week. I hope to see some of you at the AGM next Saturday. But until next Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time, I'll close the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net. and return talk groups 23531 Pheonix, 23531 Brandmeister and 50233531 RAYNET-UK to an open net rather than a directed one. 730, this is G4 and RC now closing and reverting to my normal call sign of Golf 0 Delta Uniform Bravo. Bye bye.